Where are your boundaries in business, and do you continually cross the line? Are you someone that says yes to everything, or do you know that word no? I'd be so interested to hear. Today, this is what we're going to talk about. Hello, you're listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. This podcast is for high-achieving, courageous women who want growth and the know-how to scale their business online. Running a business is a journey and a process. The more we learn in action, the more we succeed. If you're a woman in business, this is the podcast for you. Be in the 5% of businesses that make it. Let's get bold and create the life we desire. I'm bringing my passion to you through advice, coaching, inspiration, and support to help you create and design the life and business you want to live. I am a Dubsado expert, CPD certified in social media platforms, and a lover of admin systems and processes. I am an accredited ICF coach, specialising in trauma and narcissism. My own coaching journey has supported my growth immensely, and I want to share those highlights with you to inspire and give you courage. Let's get intentional with our goals and make them happen. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Courageous Goals podcast. I am so excited to talk to you about today's topic because it's all about how organised and structured you are as a person and what you need day to day in order to work efficiently. So today is about boundaries in business. When I started out in business, as I'm sure you've heard, I worked all the hours that I could on my business because I wanted clients, because I wanted to work, because I wanted to feel this success in my business. And I thought that that was, the way to do it, to have all of these clients. That's what success was for me when I started out. And so I really, really lacked boundaries. I said yes to practically everything, and I didn't have any boundaries, and I wanted to keep everybody happy. I wanted my business to thrive, and I wanted to feel that success. So today I want to talk to you about boundaries and what they are. So we all know that boundaries are rules. They are a guideline in how you operate and how you work with people. So in order to give 100% in everything you do, you really need to feel rested. You need to feel energized about what you're doing. But can you continually do that if you keep crossing the line, if you keep crossing the line of your boundaries? So if you have clients, you need boundaries. And for the majority of us, we don't realize this until we are years into our business. I am currently raising my hand because that is me. Is it you? Are you one of those that say yes to everything? I know that I am, or I used to be. I'm known in my family for it, and they often say to me, "Mum, repeat after me." No, which is it's quite funny. It's a continual thing, and they tend to laugh at me for it because it's just an ongoing joke, and I can take it most of the time. But having boundaries with our clients, it gives us a mutual respect. It gives us appreciation for what we do. And in turn, it shows the value of working with one another. There are several ways that you can set boundaries. And this is what I want to talk to you about. You just need to work out what it is that's really important for you to operate and for you to feel on top of your game. So, for instance, sleep. That's the first thing that comes to mind with my boundaries, because I know that I need a good night's sleep in order to function properly the next day. For me, I need anywhere between 6 to 8 hours sleep in order to feel fully rested. If I don't get that sleep, I'm not going to function the next day. Or if I do, it will probably take me double the time. So I know that that's really important. And so I know that my little ones are usually awake anytime from 6 a.m. So I need to be in bed roughly around 10:30 to get the sleep that I need. Sometimes I don't keep that boundary, that rule. I don't go to bed on time, and then I do suffer the next day. So I know that that's really, really important for me to show up in the best way possible. If that's something that affects you, which majority of us it is, then really look at your sleep routine and see where you can adjust things to get the full night's sleep, the rest that you really, really need. Okay, so the second one is your mindset. Now, this one is quite a biggie because our mindset affects us in so many ways and can really hold us back. Limiting beliefs is unbelievable. All these things that we have in the past and what we fear, what we've been told, what we've heard, all of those things really, really affect us. So this is one thing that you really need to get to grips with and deal with in the best way possible. If you can, whatever you're thinking in your head, quite often a lot of us say, I can't or I won't, or, but what if? And we have all these negative beliefs or these negative questions. Now, if you can try and spin it, imagine you're talking to, say, a daughter or your sister or your mother or anybody. Try and think about it from a different point of view. What would you ask them to support them with their mindset? You know, what if things take off? You know, I'm thinking from a business point of view. So you could be thinking, but what if it doesn't work? What if no one wants to buy my product or my service? What if? Just put a spin on it, change it to a positive. And what if it does work? What if it is really wanted? Yes, there could be a million people offering the same thing that you're offering, but they're not you. And people tend to buy from people, right? So I spoke about this in a previous episode. People tend to buy from people. Your mindset really, really matters in what you're telling yourself. If you need to, write it down on a post-it note or tell yourself in the mirror one sentence every single morning that will help you change what you think about you, yourself, your business, what you're offering, whatever you're doing. It will really make a huge, huge difference. My mindset isn't perfect and it used to be really quite bad. However, since I learnt more about coaching, since I became a coach and trained, got my certification, my accreditation, everything has massively changed. I read a lot of books now that are all very positive. I read a lot of coaching books. Obviously, I've got coaching clients, and although I'm there to support them and help them, you have no idea how much it actually helps me as a person, because after, you know, you kind of summarize everything that you've discussed, ready to move on in the next session, in, you know, when you're working in a program, and you have to work on what might help that person in the next session, what you can do to support them. So the mindset is a powerful thing. And if you've got clear boundaries, it will help you like immensely. So really, really get to work on your mindset and see what you can do, how you can change things, how you can adapt and even change habits. Habits is another huge thing, but I won't go into that one right now. So the next thing that I would like you to think about is your routine. I know I'm a huge fan of routine, 100%. Right now it's August. And so everybody knows what that is in August. It's the summer holidays, children are off school, people are going on holiday, everything is all thrown up in the air and everywhere. I shouldn't say this really, but I am waiting for September to come. As much as I love the holidays and spending time with my family, when I'm not actually on holiday and off work, I struggle with not having routine. I love the idea of routine, you know, getting up, doing certain things, walking my daughter to school, and then starting my working day. That's my thing. That's what I love doing. I love a routine. You might be completely different. You might have a different routine. Within that routine, you also then need to think about where you're most full of energy. So are you an early riser? And do you work better in the morning? Are you proactive and full of energy, ready to work on big projects? Or is that something you have to do in the afternoon because you need to ease yourself into the day because you might be more of a night owl? It could be anything. So really think about your routine and what it looks like and how you can structure that a bit better. Okay, so for the next thing with boundaries is notifications. So Do you get distracted by notifications? I know that I do, 100%. And I never really used to look at it as a distraction. It was just, oh, I've been doing this and now I need to do this and I need to move on to this piece of work. And, you know, you move on from bit to bit and you're not giving it your full attention because you're distracted. So I set up notifications to fit within my schedule on my mobile. I have all notifications off for all of social media, for emails, for absolutely everything apart from the urgent things like phone calls and text messages. All my other notifications are off. And when I work with clients, when I'm working on a project or when I'm having a meeting or a session, something like that, because I'm a Mac user, I use the focus button. And I don't know if you know what the focus button is. I only actually realised at the focus button a few months ago, and oh my gosh, it's been a lifesaver. So if I know I'm going into a meeting for an hour, I put the focus on for an hour and I will not get disturbed, which is amazing because you only have to see your email flash up on the top right corner and it's like, oh, my brain is now thinking about that. What is it I need to do? And I'm not focusing on what it is that's actually going on right there and then. Distractions, notifications, really get to grips with your boundaries on that. Where can you support yourself in order to stay clear and focused? The next thing I would like to talk about is setting certain days for certain things. So perhaps, what can we call this? Perhaps like a topic for each day. So I know that on Mondays, I don't have meetings, I don't have sessions, I don't do anything that's going to require my attention on a Zoom or on a phone call or anything like that. Mondays, I don't do. Look at your structure of your week, your Monday to Friday. What does it look like? Even look at your weekends. I know some people work at weekends. I know that I do sometimes. Sunday evening, I tend to plan my week ahead. If I don't, I do it on a Monday morning. So I know that I do that and that's fine. That works with me and my schedule. But really look at your Monday to Friday. What days do you work? What days do you have meetings? What days do you catch up on your own business admin? What days do you perhaps work on your own projects or client work? Whatever it is, just have a look at your topics that you do each day and see where you can kind of streamline things and really organise them a little better. I know that it works really well for me now. I never used to do this before. And this also comes in time with the time blocking resource that I created. And I talked about this again in a previous episode. And if you don't already time block, perhaps it's something that you could consider and look into because it really does make a huge difference in your schedule, in your day-to-day processes. So if you'd like the resource for that, you can download it. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so the next thing, and I suppose it's more the final thing that I'd really like to talk about, is your systems and processes. In every single thing you do, you need boundaries because it helps you maintain your time and how much you're doing things. It stops procrastination, and having a process for everything just streamlines things. It makes things so much easier to manage and do. So do you have a process for how you manage your inbox, or is your inbox all over the place and really busy? I know that my inbox, my actual inbox where my emails come into, that is empty majority of the time because I have folders. I have client folders, I have business folders, I have marketing folders, coaching folders. I have folders for everything. Things that are in the inbox are usually things that I need to action. And so once I've done that and I've actioned it, the email gets filed into a folder and saved away just in case it's needed at some point in the future. If it's something that I need to action potentially in a week or in a month or even longer, I use the snooze button. I don't know if you use Google Gmail. I have a Google Workspace account and the snooze button is amazing. It's a real lifesaver. Now, another VA taught me this early last year, I think it was. And I was filing all of my things in folders ready to action, and organize and do when I needed to do them, whether it's a week later, a month later, or whatever. But the snooze button allows you to pick a date and a time, and for when you really need to work on something. So now I have so many emails that I have snoozed because I know I need to work on those things at specific times of the month or specific times of the year. So I know I've got things coming up in September and October. I've got quite a few emails that are snoozed for September and October, and I work like that generally with my work and with client work and other things that I might want to do, or if there's an event or something like that that I want to attend, then it's a way of saving the Zoom link because it's in the email. It's really, really clever. And obviously in your inbox, you have all the different folders, like, you've got your sent items and your junk folder and things like that. So it's just another folder that's called snoozed. So if you need to know what you might have snoozed, you can always go and have a look. So snooze, the function is absolutely amazing. So if you use Google Workspace, or just a general Gmail account, then try and use the snooze button and see how it works for you. It's so handy, it really is. Okay, so another thing with systems and processes, do you use any project management tools? I know that I use Trello and I absolutely love it. I have used other applications like Monday.com and Asana. There are so many different project management tools that you can use. So if you don't already use them, I would really recommend finding one that works for you and using it alongside your inbox. And Dubsado is the thing that I use alongside my inbox because I know that it's all set up for my systems and processes. I have a really streamlined way to onboard my clients in Dubsado. It also acts as a CRM, so it's absolutely amazing. So I use that alongside my inbox day to day. And then obviously I use my Google Calendar as well. So it's all linked. They're all synced. I know what software I need to run my business day to day. And then there might be other things. So for instance, this new podcast that I have a Trello board and a spreadsheet, and I list absolutely every episode, all of my notes, my script notes, my show notes. I have everything all in a place, and there is a process. I have the process all listed on Trello so that I don't forget all the things that I need to do. You need to schedule it, you need to create a graphic for it, you might need to do social media for it, talk about it in your emails. And I have all of these processes written down because eventually I might like support for my podcast at some point in the future. At the moment, I'm getting the hang of it myself, and I love to know how to do something before I hand things over for support with someone. I create the process and I might adapt the process along the way. So it's a real learning curve when you're creating the process. But once it's there and it's in Trello, it's easy to share and hand over to someone because the process is already there. So it's easy to really just hand that over, say, look at the process, here it is, it's all ready. So I do have a process for pretty much everything and anything I do. So for an action, I would love for you to sit down and ask yourself, where are my boundaries in my business? Where are my boundaries in order for me to feel on top of my game? What new boundaries can I put in place to support me better? Now, I encourage you to get some paper and some pens. And if you're anything like me, you'll enjoy sitting down with large bits of paper, perhaps sat on the floor or at the dining table, and just really brainstorming those ideas and answering those questions. Let me know how you get on. Let me know what comes up for you that might help others. We can all do with the extra bit of support, the extra ideas now and then, because our minds are so busy on our own stuff, on our own business, in our own lives, that we often lack looking at things from a different point of view. So anything you can share that might be useful, please do feel free to come back to me or come into our Courageous Women in Business group and share what's come up for you. Right. Get going with those boundaries, and I really hope that you do sit down and ask yourself those 3 questions. Let me know how it goes, and thank you for listening. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and taken something of value for you. If you'd love more advice, coaching, inspiration and support, head on over to join many other courageous women in business in our free community group over on Facebook. We'd love to welcome you. You can also find free useful resources over on the website at leannebrown.com/resources. Right, that's all for this week. I look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.